In the great river basin of Nakhon Chai Si, where history itself flows like the water, there are stories that are whispered from one generation to the next. They aren't stories of great kings or epic battles, but of something deeper, of faith, of immense compassion, and of a power so vast it can be held in the palm of your hand. This isn't just about an amulet, this is the story of a true legend.
So let's start with the central question, right? How can an object so small, this tiny sacred sphere, command such deep respect? Why isn't it just a collector's item, but something that's treated as a living piece of history? Well, the answer to that question is an incredible story of masters, of miracles, and of a legacy that is still very much alive today.
We have to begin with its status, because in the world of sacred artifacts, it stands at the very, very top. There are levels to this, hierarchies of power and reverence, and within the most elite, most respected collections, this amulet is at the absolute summit. And here's the thing that really sets it apart. Among what's known as the Benjapaki Luk'om, that's the 5 most sacred powder-based amulets in the entire kingdom, the one from Wat Tukata is the undisputed number 1. There's no debate, no argument. It is the first among the 5 greatest of its kind, a position it earned because of its age, its rarity, and its proven incredible power.
You know, its power actually comes from its very substance. People who've held it say the texture is as strong and as dense as marble, and its color is this signature, faint, almost otherworldly pinkish hue, sometimes with these hints of purple. And that's because it's made from a complex mix of sacred Buddhist powders and the pollens from 108 different auspicious herbs, all meticulously prepared and hand-rolled into this small, perfect sphere.
This quote from people who've spent their lives studying these amulets, it just captures the absolute faith people have in it. This one tiny ball is enough for every situation. Think about that. Not for one specific problem, but for every situation. It really speaks to this belief in its all-encompassing protective power, its ability to bring good fortune, no matter the circumstances. Of course, an object of this magnitude couldn't just appear out of nowhere. It had to be created, forged by someone with immense purity and spiritual power. So you have to ask, who was the master behind the legend? Who could possibly channel that much sanctity into a physical object?
His name was Phra Palad Pan, or, as he's known with the deepest respect, Luang Pu Pan. He was the abbot of Wat Tukata, a temple that would become forever linked with his name and the legendary amulet that he brought into this world.
And to really understand his spiritual authority, you have to know this. Luang Pu Pan wasn't just any monk. He was a master of masters. He was the preceptor for another one of Thailand's most revered figures, Luang Pu Boon. He personally passed down the sacred knowledge of the powerful Maha Jindamanee mantra, which means his own amulets are considered the original prototype, the very source from which an entire lineage of incredible sacred objects would flow.
But this wasn't just talk or theory. Luang Pu Pan's power was real, and people saw it with their own eyes through acts so extraordinary they've been retold for over 100 years. These are timeless stories of a power that came not from a place of dominance, but from a place of deep, universal compassion.
So where did this power come from? It all centered around the Maha Jindamanee mantra. Now, this wasn't just some simple chant. This was a sophisticated spiritual science. You can see here its lineage goes all the way back to an ancient sage. It has a specific structure. There are chants to honor the teacher, and then the main body of the mantra. And its sole purpose is to create great compassion, attract incredible fortune, and manifest abundance.
Just picture this scene for a moment. Crows and hawks, these are wild, untamable creatures. But the stories say that Luang Pu Pan, just through the sheer force of his compassion, could call these birds right down from the sky. They'd come and just perch on his hand, letting him stroke their heads like they were his own pets. It was a perfect display of a spirit in total harmony with the natural world.
But the most famous miracle, the one that everyone remembers, happened right in the waters of the canal in front of the temple. During a festival, in front of all the villagers, Luang Pu Pan began chanting the mantra over the water, and soon the surface began to churn with life as countless schools of fish rose up from the depths, filling the entire canal. It was the ultimate demonstration of abundance, a miracle that cemented his legend forever.
But you can't separate the legend of the man from the place that nurtured him. Wat Tukata isn't just a background for the story, it's sacred ground. It holds the echoes of centuries within its very walls.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It gives you a sense of the incredible history we're talking about. The temple is believed to have been founded all the way back in 1577, during the Ayutthaya kingdom. We see key moments, like renovations in the 1800s, that critical date in 1869 when Luang Pu Pan ordains his famous disciple, and its official royal consecration. This is a place that has witnessed over 400 years of history unfold.
So, what about its charming name, Wat Tukata, which means doll temple? Well, that name comes from these two symbolic teakwood carvings. And look at the symbolism here, it's really cool. Both of them are holding a rooster, which stands for diligence, but one also has a money bag for wealth, while the other holds a chakra wheel for power. They basically represent the hopes of the entire community for prosperity and influence.
Okay, so let's bring this whole story into the present day. Because the true power of Luang Pu Pan's legend isn't that it ended with him, it's in how his spirit of compassion is still at work, not through magic or miracles, but through real, tangible acts of giving that continue to this day.
This slide really just draws the line perfectly. In the past, Luang Pu Pan's compassion looked like miracles, things that inspired faith and showed what abundance was possible. Today, that exact same spirit of giving is shown through the temple's unwavering support for the local school, providing the priceless gifts of wisdom and a real future for the next generation.
And this isn't just some casual connection. The school was founded way back in 1936, and its very first classrooms were held inside the temple's own sermon hall. Every single abbot since that time has continued this patronage of education. So the temple isn't just next to the school, it's the living heart of the community, a perfect example of that home, temple, school model, all working together in perfect harmony.
So in the end, you see it. You see that the most profound miracle wasn't summoning fish from a canal. It's the miracle of compassion that lasts through time. The true legacy of Luang Pu Pan and Wat Tukata isn't just found in a rare and powerful amulet. It's found in the unbroken chain of generosity that continues to lift up its community, proving that the greatest power of all is the one that you give away.